I love the hustle, man.
Man. I feel like I can't even do the intro right now, man. But I guess I got to. All net, no ram, man.
I'm sure.
all net, no ram. I'll go by the name of Stealth the Producer. We got Doughboy Bush. I know it's been a while since we've uploaded some content. We apologize for that. But we definitely had to get on here today. Today is December 27th of 2024. And today, Mike Brown has been fired as the head coach from the Sacramento Kings. Now, we've been wanting to get on here for a while just to kind of talk about like the state of the Kings, the state of the roster, the chemistry, the record.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to get on here for a while. It's just different schedules, jobs, responsibilities. We apologize for that. Now, here's the thing. Before we get to that, we really feel like we're building something on this channel as far as like the quality of content. We're getting in a space to where we like what we're doing and like we're finding our direction and how we want to do it. So we need to be more consistent. So we're going to take the onus on that as far as like why we haven't been, uploading regularly. We're going to get back to that. So I just want to say that real quick before we start. But man, I don't know how I feel right now. I'm gonna start. I know the Kings needed to make a change. Something had to change because you can't keep losing games like this. I'm gonna be real with you.
No,
I'm gonna be real with you. When they started losing these games, I'm like, they're gonna figure it out. I'm like, yeah, they got a little 2-game skid. They started. I think we started off what 6? Was it 6-4? I think they started the 10-game
6-4.
They started 6-4. I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out. The next 10 games, we'll figure it out. They'll get a win streak going here. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, we're 8th, we're 9th, we're 10th. Okay, we'll move. And then things didn't really get any better. Matter of fact, they got worse. As of today, what is our record? As of today, right? Somebody is like 13-18 or something like that. It's 13-18.
It's something ugly.
13-18.
It's something very ugly.
13-18 and 12th in the Western Conference.
I would say 12 and 13 in the Western Conference. Yeah.
So something had to change. Now, in my mind, I was kind of thinking, man, like, I didn't want to say it. Like, I didn't want to verbalize it. I'm like, but is it Mike Brown needs to go? Because I'm like, normally the coach is the first domino that kind of falls before things start to trickle down and the roster starts moving, GMs and all that start moving. Like, the coach is always to blame. But so the reasons I did not want to get rid of Mike Brown is because when you're the Sacramento Kings, you're trying to establish culture. And I feel like we were moving towards that. That first year that Mike Brown was here, we were really moving towards that. We got to the playoffs, and had Steph Curry not gotten possessed and scored 50, we would have went to the second round against the Lakers, who we swept that regular season. So we could have potentially been in the Western Conference Finals that year. So when I think about that, I'm like, okay. So like honestly, like even though we lost in the first round, Game 7 of that year, if as a Sacramento Kings fan, you're kind of feeling good. Like, man, we just made the playoffs after 16 years. Competitive,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And then you kind of come back and you just miss the playoffs. You get into the play-in tournament and you don't make it. You lose to New Orleans, who swept you all last season. Lose to New Orleans, you don't get into the playoffs. Now you're like, all right, got close. All right, third year, Mike Brown. What's gonna happen? We get DeMar DeRozan, who I felt was an upgrade from Harrison Barnes. I'm gonna let you. I'm just trying to I'm gonna let you fire off in a minute.
Sure.
I felt
I get it. No.
I felt like it was an upgrade from Harrison Barnes. And then you still got Sabonis. You re-signed Monk. Got De'Aaron Fox. Keegan, third year. You know what I'm saying? Like, Herder coming back. you get a pretty high draft pick. Yeah, he's not playing. He's getting ready to start playing pretty soon here. But you're like, okay, you're feeling good about him, like maybe being like the defender, that 3-and-D guy off your bench, that point guard, backup point guard. And then now you fast forward to today, you're 13 and 18, and you no longer have Mike Brown as your head coach. How did we get here? Now, before I let you far off, I want you to go
Very
in,
ugly.
because I'm kind of starting this whole thing up, but I want you to go in. We kept saying it on this channel, and I'm starting to see people finally say it as well. This roster was not complete. I'm starting to see people saying that the Kings need help in the front court. Now, I've been saying for years, for 3 years now, for 3 NBA seasons, that Sabonis is playing out of position. Some people agree with me, some people don't agree with me.
Definitely.
All right, say you're one of the people who don't agree with me. You damn sure can't say Keegan Murray is not playing out of position, because I feel like Keegan is a wing. Keegan is a 3, he's a wing. Keegan Murray is not a power forward. You have him starting at your 4 and Sabonis at your 5. To me, that in my mind, that's 2 players playing out of position off rip. To me, that was the 100%. thing. That was the thing, right? Off rip. And then you're adding DeRozan. I feel like early on they were trying to implement him, get him the ball, get him, involved, make sure he's comfortable. Yeah. That kind of backfired. Then he kind of took a step back. I noticed that. But then just Keegan, I feel like Keegan never found his way this season. You know what I'm saying? And he regressed. And then I felt like De'Aaron Fox is kind of checking out. When you watch him play, it's like, bro, are you really into it, or do you want to get traded at this point? Are you trying to like find a way out?
Right.
And it's just like, and now Mike Brown is the first domino to fall. I'm gonna let you go off, man. I'm just like, what happened? How did we get to this point, man? Like, we were building a culture, we were building what looked like a potential winning roster, and now we're at the bottom of the West with no head coach right now. How did we get to this point?
None. I appreciate what you just said, man. I value that 110%. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't understand how they got here. I know Mike Brown was tweaking some of the roster, rotational players and things of that nature, trying to figure out what, players fit well with each other during certain times of the game, and I felt like he was trying to do everything he could to try to make this roster coexist and have some cohesiveness to where they can go ahead and start winning some games. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they weren't buying into it, but we made some valid points. We've been saying, hey, look, Sabonis is playing out of position. He's more of a power forward than a 5. We said Keegan Murray, he's definitely undersized for a power forward. Shouldn't even be playing at the 4 spot. They should put him down to the 3, And I felt like, the DeRozan sign was definitely a good sign for the Kings and going in a good direction, because it felt like, okay, look, we're a win now team. We lack the veteran leadership and star quality power of a player like you who's been a veteran in the league for over 10 years and is very reputable, across the entire NBA. So it felt like, okay, cool. You know what? We got Fox, we got Keegan, we got, Sabonis, we re-signed Monk, like you said. So it's like we can build around this. But once we did not get any 3-and-D guys, there was no center that was signed whatsoever. I was like, hey, look, man, the Kings are going to be in some trouble. And while we're talking about this, I seen an article that I sent you, matter of fact, about a week or 2 ago, and I know we were supposed to go ahead and fire up the cameras and get on here to talk about it. But when old boy from Denver, what's the one that played the power forward spot? Can't think of his name right now. Where he went ahead and said that he knew the Kings were not good when they didn't have
Aaron Gordon,
enough taller players on their.
Yeah, you did send me that. Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, when Gordon. When Aaron Gordon said an article that I read, passed it along to you, and he said, "Hey, look, man, I knew the Kings were in trouble because they lack size," and we bitched for that. We said that, you know what I'm saying, before. I think when they went to training camp or before training camp, I want to say sometime around there. Man, and then when they started to fill out the roster a little bit, we were like,
I know for a fact
what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, you never made no major splashes at all.
I know for a fact I was saying it after the Kings lost to the Warriors in that first round of the playoffs. When Sabonis first, that first run, I know I was saying, I'm like, they need help up front because Sabonis can't. I've been saying it.
Yes.
Y'all can go back and watch the videos. We have specific videos about him playing out of position.
We both said it.
I've been saying that
Definitely.
you can't have. You're asking Sabonis to do too much. You can't have him guard the
Too
5,
much.
rebound, initiate the offense, and score. And honestly, he's the only. Think about it. He's the only. How can I word this without sounding like he's the only productive big on this team?
The Kings got on their roster. Yes. I agree. 110%.
You know what I'm saying?
Once, and no disrespect to Alex Lynn, no disrespect to Trey Lyles or anybody like that, just in case you catch wind of this video, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. Once you get past the bonus, Sacramento has nothing to offer productive-wise when it comes to filling the 4 spot and the 5 spot. None whatsoever. And so I felt like with that being last year's issue, that they probably would have tried to address it again this year. Now, one thing I can say I disagree with, I felt like Mike Brown should not have been fired. And the way they went about it, management was cold, was wrong. Had that man go ahead and go a whole practice. Getting ready to go ahead and get on the flight to come here to LA. And you tell the man he don't have a job no more? My thing was that I felt like, okay, 3 years. Okay, his first year was the first year that they went to the playoffs, right? Where he ended up getting coach of the year? Or was it the second year? First year. Second year, you run it back.
You missed the playoffs.
Got bounced out right before the playing game against the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like the last 2 games of the season to determine whether or not they were going to go ahead and get to the play-in tournament.
But then we played the Pelicans.
Exactly.
We played the Pelicans.
Exactly. The Pelicans. Pelicans, right. So my thing was you already had two solid productive years of him coaching. Coach of the year, make the playoffs, which Sacramento hasn't been in the playoffs in God knows how long prior to that. He gets you there twice, or at least once.
It's so funny as we're doing
in the second year, he gets you close to nothing.
As we're doing this video, I got a text from my boy. Do you agree with what the Kings just did? So everybody's talking about these Kings right now. Do you agree?
No,
bro. And again, that's why I'm torn because
not at all.
It's like you can't. I know somebody had to be the scapegoat for how the season started. You can't fire Mike Brown, no, man, when you're trying to build a culture. And now everybody is talking about it. Everybody around the league. You got George Karl, the former head coach from here and various other teams, several other teams.
Mike
Malone firing off, who was also former Kings coach. I think Jordy Fernandez, I know he spoke on it. I did not see what he had to say, but he's a Brooklyn Nets head coach. He was our former assistant coach here. I know he spoke on it. A lot of people are speaking on this Mike Brown firing, and it's kind of setting us back because people are looking at it like, see, told y'all so, Sacramento Kings organization, but what were they supposed to do? Just continue to lose? See, that's where I'm torn. And I'm trying to think, I'm trying to look at it from both sides of the coin. What were they supposed to do? So let me ask you this. So you say you don't agree with the firing, and I'm with you on that. I do side with that, but I'm also on the side of something had to change. So if it wasn't firing Mike Brown, what do you think it should have been?